Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure news video, recapping the last 2 weeks since the last episode of figure news. I made sure to allocate for our goof last time where it actually went up on a Wednesday rather than the day after Sunday or Sunday itself. So we kind of don't actually have a super lot to cover. Don't know what I was trying to say there. Brain was like, but we do have a little bit of interesting tidbits for you. We did actually get a couple of final pictures shown for some figures, so let's go ahead and hop into it. If you excuse me as well, I'm also using hand weights in my room. If you hear the little there's a little like bead inside it. I don't know why. Anyway, enough of the introduction. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Obviously, we left off here where they listed every Kamehameha. Of course, starting off on DBZfigures.com as always. Figure release schedule for December 2021. Now, if you are unfamiliar, this is actually the January 2022 issue of V-Jump. But V-Jump is always really weird how they work. They always release it a month in advance. So the month that is before the upcoming month is the one that it's called. But technically, it's for that month. It's really weird. Regardless, though, as you can see here with this beautiful Gogeta cover, we have actually a pretty good lineup for this particular V-Jump issue that I am quite excited for. Obviously, as you can see here, $60. Both of the, actually no, not both of the pre-orders. I was going to say both because I figured it would be together, but you can still actually pre-order 18, and both of these figures are going to be coming out in the first quarter. Oh, I see, it's on the Big Bad Toy Store. Are going to be coming out in the first quarter of 2022. So obviously that's going to be like the end of the winter that we're in right now, and then kind of springtime. So very, very excited to get both of these. I know a lot of people have been really, really wanting some Dragon Ball Super Android action, because obviously their designs are really, really cool. And of course, in the Tournament of Power, both of them have some really big moments. So very, very cool stuff on that one. We are getting, very stinky, the Bandai Namco Limited Bam Presto Son Goku figures. Obviously, these are these digital modeling mess of figures that are just copies of each other. The only one that I'm maybe a little bit interested in would be the Kaioken Goku, just because, I don't know why, for some reason we've gotten a bunch of Kaioken Goku figures recently, but all of these are kind of stinky, to be honest with you, and they're not really worth your money unless you can find them for a couple buckaroonies. So would not recommend them personally, but they are coming out to Bandai Namco arcades, and they aren't getting a US release because they're an arcade exclusive. We are getting high grade Dragon Ball 10, which obviously is not getting a US release. As well, we have the Dragon Ball vs. Omnibus, which is actually dropped. Because people in Japan have been posting pictures on the Twitter timeline of their pulls from the ICHIBAN Kuji and showing off the figures. Obviously, our figures will ship overseas in 2022 in February, but you can pre-order some of them. It looks like still on the Big Bad Toy Store. Not sponsored or anything, it's just that, you know, technically by buying it through DBZ Figures, by buying it through the Big Bad Toy Store, you're supporting them. So good stuff on that front. But I am very, very excited, and we actually have a lot of finals from these figures to take a look at today. We do have the Super Zenkai Solid Volume 2 Goku dropping in January 2022. Obviously, this is the second figure in the Zenkai Solid line, and the one that still doesn't make any sense, considering we just got the Super Attack re-release of this exact same pose for Goku, and that figure is much more stylized and a lot more cool. No offense to the homie Nakazawa, who did a good job sculpting the figure. It's not bad. It's just unnecessary, really. Then we have the Maxamatic Super... I don't know why I said Super Majin Vegeta. I guess Super Saiyan? I don't know. Never heard anybody say it that way before. But yes, of course, the Maxamatic Majin Vegeta. We've talked about that guy a couple of times. The Cupid Socket Chi-Chi will be releasing in January, the A version and the B version as well. We also have the Dragon Ball Arise Drum. I can't believe that that figure sold out. That is pretty wild, if I do say so myself. That is a fat $190 right there, basically 200 with the way that that equates with the yen. The Grandis the Nero Vegeta Manga Dimensions version, which we will actually get to see a couple of updated pictures for that guy later on in the video when we cover Baggy. Then we also have the Grandis de Nero Goku Black, which is releasing in January, and of course the Super Master Stars Peace Trunks, the Manga Dimensions version. very, very packed month for January of 2022. I will say, seeing the Super Master Stars Piece Trunks re-release, and I know earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, we got the re-release of the Master Stars Piece Super Saiyan Goku. I'm almost wondering if they're going to do Vegeta. I'm kind of hoping that they do, if I'm being 100% honest with you, because it would be really cool to have like all the Z Fighters in Manga Dimensions forms re-released, because of course they're kind of hard to come by on the original ones. But yes, very packed month. So if you were interested in any of these figures or you pre-ordered them, this is kind of your time frame of when to look out for. Moving on, however, we did have another weekly Dragon Ball news for the week of December 6th. This one was also an interview with Toyotaro, which is pretty cool. They always cover his face like this, which I think is just so comical. But it's been a hectic couple of days, finished one of big projects at work. Now I'm ready for the holidays, but before that, new episode of Dragon Ball Weekly News. This week is a special extra long episode featuring Toyotaro. Okay, so he basically just talked about him with the manga, and nothing too crazy in terms of figures this time around. Looks to be just the interview with Toyotaro. Moving on. Ooh, okay, hold up. What do we got here? This looks interesting. I did not see this. Bam Presto Lab. Looks like Bam Presto is taking a page out of the Bandai playbook and opening a showroom in Akihabara to display their figures starting on the 18th. Wow, that's cool. Full press release below. On Saturday, December 18th, 2022, prize figure maker Bam Presto opened its new figure exhibition space, Bam Presto Lab in Seek Base, Akihabara Station, Chiyoda District, Tokyo. Bam Presto Lab is a new permanent, really? Wow, exhibition space where more than 50 of Bam Presto's newest figures will be on display at any given time. I hope we get some pictures of that. I don't know if my man who runs the site would be able to get them, or if maybe we'll see them on the Twitter timeline. But that will be really interesting to see. I definitely hope that we get to see that a little bit, especially as it updates over time. Ordinarily, fans would have to wait to unbox the latest figures for themselves to get a proper look at them, but at the Bam Presto Lab, you'll be able to see upcoming figures. Oh, you'll be able to see all the figures dominating your wish list up close in the flesh. Okay, so this might also be a new way that we end up getting early quote-unquote images of different figures. That'll be interesting. There are too many awesome figures to display to count. We're pretty sure we caught a glimpse of the Dragon Ball Maximalic Vegeta 2 figure that's set to release in December. So I assume that some people have already gotten to see this, right? Like this press release. Plus, the exhibition space features massive dioramas adorned with figures that bring the world of Dragon Ball to life like never before. Interesting. Figures on display are scheduled to change once a month from here on out. I guess that makes sense considering figures get updated once a month. So be sure to plan to repeat visits. Okay, I see. To stay in the know with all things Dragon Ball figures have to offer. I suppose if you were a frequenter of that particular train, or that particular station rather, and you used a train at that station, the Akihabara station, you may just like go to this, once a month anyway, ironically enough. So that's pretty cool. I do hope that we end up getting some figures from that. Ooh. Sorry for that weird cut. I just realized I accidentally skipped one. Whoopsie. So obviously we have the release of the OMNIBUS Kuji with all of these big bad boys here. And we did get to see some of this stuff already. Obviously we haven't seen some of the smaller prizes in too much detail. So these are little plates, cups, and obviously hand towels and stuff like that. Again, if you would still like to pre-order these, you can. I know there's a couple other websites that still have them up. I think Amazon even still has some of these. But just keep in mind, a lot of these figures are going to be a little bit higher in price because obviously with the Master Lies Extra shenanigans, you're going to have a bigger figure on your hands. And it is kind of weird though, I will say, some of these seem a little bit upped price from what I purchased. Like I know that some of them were a little bit more expensive this time around, but I think Big Bad Toy Store sometimes kind of jacks up the price because I know that Cell and Omega should be $50 and I see Omega is $55 there, but regardless, if you're trying to cop these, definitely go hit up that pre-order because I know that there's a lot of cool stuff in this Kuji. And finally, for our last article on DBZ Figure News, we do have a little bit of a survey. Basically, our man here says, last year I made a list of top 10 figures for 2020, and this year, instead of listing my favorite figures, I wanted to get your input. So use the form below and give me your favorite figure from the Bandai release schedule. Don't worry if you are not sure, just list it, pre-orders won't count. Entries will close on December 31st, and I want to make a post a day or two afterwards, tabulating the top 10 choices. Use the form below to answer. So, if you would like to contribute to this, of course, I will leave a link to dbzfigures.com in the description as always. If I'll remember, I'll also leave a link to this, but, you know, at the time of this recording, it's literally the first thing if you click on the link. So, as well, also, I'm not going to scroll down because that'll just show my email, and I don't want to do that because it's a personal email. However, with that being said, right, definitely submit to this because I think it would be really cool to see what ends up getting picked. And as well, I will tell you, I am also going to be doing another set of videos this year. If you remember last year, I actually did my top 10 best and worst figures of 2020. And you guys seem to really enjoy those videos, so I'm absolutely going to be doing it again. I'll probably upload them the final week of the month, all the way up leading until the new year, with the Dokkan animation ones as well. But definitely keep an eye out for that because I have some spicy picks for this year. So definitely keep an eye out. But as always, thank you to dbzfigures.com for holding it down with the great news summaries, and we're going to move on to Mr. Baggy's Twitter, leaving off where we left off right there with the Goku. Now, first off, let me take a drink of water while you look at this. Here is a little bit of a teaser for the packaging for the current Omnibus Kuji. I really like the packaging. I talk about it a lot when I open Kuji figures and when I look at them online. The packaging is always super sick, and I love the stylization of the whole line sort of having a similar feel while also being themed to the character. Also, ironically enough, it says made in China, which makes sense. Thank God it isn't made in Vietnam for sure. Alrighty, so moving past some My Hero stuff here, great news for the Ultimate Shinron. There's way more participating stores in Japan for the December Kuji, almost like double than the September Back to the Film Kuji, so that should bode well for the market value of Ultimate Shinron. I can tell you I have seen this guy already pretty highly priced, even trying to look into some Japanese retailers, or I guess more like auction sites, because obviously there's not like a Japanese retailer that just sells this. But I digress. I know that his market value is pretty high already, but that is good to know. This was very goofy. So from Toei, new top featuring these promo arts. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Gotenks, Gohan, and Androids are by far the best, is what Baggy thinks. I would, what did he say? Super Saiyan 3, Gotenks, and Gohan. Where is Gotenks? Oh, Gotenks is actually sick. Gohan is pretty cool, though, I will say. This is a very interesting art style. This kind of feels like the cover of Xenoverse. Wow, unless he means this Gohan, which I would say that's sick. That is... His hair is very... Wait, that looks so weird. Now that I'm looking at that, I really like it, but... What is, like... What Super Saiyan form is that? Because it almost looks like... It's not like 1 or 2. It's almost like between. It almost looks like adult Gohan's hair when he goes Super Saiyan, but on Teen Gohan. That's really weird. I like the art style of this a lot, but I will say, I know it's kind of a little bit hard to envision it because it's on this kind of crudely drawn shirt just to show you what it's going to look like, but it is like, I don't know, it does look a little bit weird to just have this all over print shirt, but I definitely like to see... you know, how this looks on the final product. I do think some of these do look pretty cool, though, for sure. Banpresto Chronicle Deku out of the box. I did not, obviously, talk about this too much in the past, but I just want to show it because I really like that Deku figure. Figured I might as well just mention it. Okay, so this was interesting. Only 64 Sega stores ordered the Maximatic Tanjiro versus the 180 that ordered the OP Maximatic. The WCF has Tanjiro, and that's low. Looks like Tanjiro might be crashing, much like our friend Goku. Thankfully, Kimitsu, planning department, don't just rely on him. Yeah. Very interesting to see that is maybe beginning to be a running theme, that when you advertise the main character of the show too heavily, people kind of get sick of it, which, I mean, granted, kind of makes sense, considering, you know, like, people have enough figures of the protagonist if they're not just brand new to figure collecting, right? Okay, so let's see. This was also... oh, okay, so this is about something later. We'll take a look at that in a second. Oh, wait, it is actually connected to this thread. It's just a different tweet. Twitter's weird. Okay, so... this was also pretty interesting. I wouldn't read too much into the new character prize figure yet, as it's likely referring to these two. because in the Tamashii event, they still referred to the SHF as new characters rather than by their names. Once May info lifts in 3 weeks, and if this is blank, then it's speculation time. Yeah, so it would make sense that it is just these two that are going to be getting a prize figure, right? Obviously, they don't want to like reveal the fact that it's them. It's what they do with figures all the time, right? Like it's the same thing as Dokkan, where you know they don't want to reveal the character, so they're like, oh, who is it? You know, even so, sometimes we kind of know, you know, same sort of thing. But anyhow, in Japan, if figures share cases rather, then they won't count as one release. So more than likely, it means these two will be sharing a case if it is them in Japan, which is interesting. Unless they're like attached somehow. I don't know if it would be like one figure that they're like, you know, not like merged together like fusion, but I mean like merged together like they're attached to each other. That could also be interesting. We also have similar sort of situation with the SSG Vegeta in the Broly WCF. Despite his design being shown off at SDCC, he wasn't in the first trailer, therefore he was still blanked in the first WCF, but once his design got officially published, they revealed the WCF. Yeah. So they've been doing this type of thing for a while. Makes sense, obviously, because, you know, they want to hide it. They want to keep it a surprise. They want to keep it hype. Okay, so here are some higher quality production images of the upcoming Dragon Ball Kuji. Again, super excited for these. Literally could not be more excited. I am absolutely going to be buying the whole set. These figures are crazy. So excited for them. Here is the February. Oh my gosh, that image is crunchy, bro. BSS Fest Kid Goku packaging. It's going to be thin. Interesting. Unfortunately, quality is too low to see where it's going to be made. Very interesting. Yeah, it's going to be thinner than the normal boxes. Alright, so this year Gohan has had several figures re-released overseas and still more popular than some newer stuff. The Saiyan Kuji Gohan was incredibly sought after, and Grandista Ultimate was very popular. Despite DBS best efforts to ignore him, the first Saiyan Son is still popular. Yes, sir. A lot of people really, really love Gohan. So it makes sense. Alright, so the Shintani KV figure original Japanese release promotional poster versus the BSS Asian re-release promotional poster. Interesting that it's not loading. I don't know why. I will agree with this commenter that there we go. I don't know if it looks less quality, kinda. It doesn't look like the same. Like this one looks like it's more going for the style of the movie, whereas this one is more so like going for its own thing. And it also looks like it's shaded. Like his face is definitely a little bit different. Unless the lighting is just that bad. But his face literally looks crooked compared to the original. I still want to get this figure at some point. I will probably seek out the original if it's gonna... if we're gonna be haunted by a re-release like this. But it definitely looks like it is a little bit different for sure. Then again, lighting can do a lot to a figure, so... Alright, so January wafer stickers full lineup should be revealed in this month feed jump, so that's something to look forward to this month. Next wafers are scheduled for April, so undoubtedly we'll see some superhero stuff, which means we'll get some traditional art, traditional chibi art, yeah. It'll be cool to see what the upcoming stuff is. More Ichiban show countries added to the list, UK, Ireland, and Denmark. Country rollout is good, yes, absolutely. Lots of countries getting the Dragon Ball Kuji, which is good. Alright, so the Back to the Film Ichiban show should start releasing in the US at the end of this month. Expecting Cooler and Super Saiyan, I thought that said Super Saiyan Blue Broly, to be the most sought after. I initially had no interest in any of these, but in honor of heirs, I might get the Golden Frieza. Yeah, fair enough. I am very excited. Oh, wait, he did mean Super Saiyan Blue Broly. I see. He meant like the original blue-haired Broly. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm quite excited for this release. Obviously, the King Cluster Broly is going to be insane. And I actually am a big fan of that blue hair form for Broly from the original movie. I don't know if that technically has a name or not. Because it's kind of, isn't it like in between like his full power or like legendary form and like Super Saiyan? I don't know if that actually has a name. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, so this was pretty cool. This is actually a thread of different images. We have the final images for the December Kuji, and I gotta say, not only are these images super cool, because it has been only in recent time that they've been actually putting these figures in like a background and sort of posing them in like a picture-esque way, almost like for a photo contest or something with a nice little background. Even though some of these like are very similar, I'm sure this was taken on the same set or with the same background, but they look really, really cool. I have to say, I am super satisfied with how these turned out. Very, very excited. There is actually something that I do want to point out with Trunks that Baggy does compare later, which we'll talk about it when we see it there. But Omega also looking very fierce. Very, very excited for this figure. One interesting thing that we'll see later at this is that those, I don't know why I was like, we'll see later that those spikes are, oh my gosh, brain is going down the gutter. Sorry, boys. I'm looking at an Omega figure in 2021. I can't help myself. Regardless, obviously this looks fantastic. The spikes on his back actually plug in, is what I was going to say, which makes sense because I don't think he would fit in the box otherwise. But yes, this looks fantastic, and I love what they did with the background as well. Here's the boys. The Cell Juniors do look pretty cool. I did actually decide that I am going to pick up one of these guys. Obviously, buying 5 is kind of ridiculous because they are still 25 bucks a pop. But they are 100% a lot better than, obviously, the Cybermen being at $35. I hope that they eventually, I was going to say raise. Please, God, no. I hope they lower the RRP for Cybermen at some point. That would be really cool. But yes, there is all of them. And then we also have the Ultimate Shinron. This is a fantastic picture of this figure, if I do say so myself. I like this a lot. It is really cool to see that they actually have a great photographer on the team now taking pictures of these figures. We also had some other cool lineup shots here where we have Gogeta and Omega throwing down for the face down. And it is kind of funny because these pictures remind me exactly of how I take my pictures. If you guys watch my unboxing videos, I do this angle literally all the time. So it's kind of funny that Bandai stole it from me. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's a pretty common angle. You know, it's like two figures facing off. Obviously, the focus is cool. You know, that sort of meme. But it's just kind of funny that I'm like, wow, I could have taken this picture, honestly. Maybe this is what I should do for my full-time job. I would love to do this for my full-time job. Are you kidding me? This would be sick. But yeah, very, very cool. Obviously, it looks fantastic with these two facing each other down in all of these backgrounds. And I hope that they continue to do this in the future for sure. I would actually really, really like that. We also had, oh boy, this one was a little bit interesting. So yeah, so y'all remember me not really feeling too highly about this Goku figure. And yeah, I think that sentiment stays here. Wow, this guy looks really ugly. Like, funny enough, actually, I think the best thing about this figure is the face. The face actually looks very good, but the rest of the figure just looks really awkward. Like, he never puts his hands in this position for the Kamehameha, right? His legs just look really awkward. It's just a very awkward looking figure. Baggy says, geez, the Goku looks awkward and stiff. You can see the lower body, or you can tell rather the lower body is reused, as there's no cohesion with the upper body and the lower body at all. Just look at the gap between the abs and it's, oh, yeah, that is, ooh. That's kind of a big gap. That's way too big for Goku. Vegeta was eating chocolate. It's funny. It does look like his mouth is a little bit covered in chocolate. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense at all, bro. The drawing in the comment makes no sense. It looks stupid. Yeah, this guy is honestly... I would agree with Baggy on that 100%. This Goku specifically, the Vegeta is definitely better, but putting this pose on the ground is just so stupid because they never do it on the ground, and it's supposed to be from the Broly movie. And not only that, there is quite literally a figure of this already, right? The Tag Fighters one, which is both of them hoisted up in the air and you can connect them on the same stand. I love that figure. It's one of my favorite releases in recent time. Very weird. I don't know. And also the hair isn't as like smooth as the Broly movie designs. I know that a lot of the time, unfortunately, we kind of get that part as just here's this L to hold for you, bozo. They don't really ever stay accurate to the texture of the hair, you know, between the different parts of Dragon Ball Z and all that. But a lot of the original Broly movie releases actually had a little bit smoother chair, yes sir, smoother hair, where it was like these bigger chunks rather than, you know, this sort of lined look that is sometimes in other Dragon Ball but is in a lot of other figures. Alright, so here's the promotional poster for it all. Looks very great. It's always cool to see these different posters. I like the little, it's kind of goofy if I'm being honest, but the little effects that they have for the key almost looks like one of those like clear acrylic things that you put in the background of a figure to make it look like it has key. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. I'm glad that Baggy has this here. So take this in for a moment while I take another drink of water. So this is very interesting, right? Because, for one, Trunks is definitely, I think, the one that looks the most different. It's not incredibly different, right? It is absolutely not that much different from the original, right? There are some figures that we've taken a look at on this show that look literally nothing like the original version of the figure. So, all things considered, this isn't the worst. But, Baggy is correct. Trunks has an extra strand of hair, and it doesn't look as good as the original, in my opinion. So, I still like the final product, and I will definitely be picking it up. But I do agree. For some reason, I kind of feel like that Trunks' face feels bigger on the original production image here on the left. Whereas on the final one, it looks a little bit smaller. I understand that his body is giant and the hairstyle is huge, but his face still feels a little bit smaller. It is also so interesting, excuse me, I just hiccuped, that this particular little strand of hair is here. I have not looked at a design of Super Trunks in a little bit, so I'm not sure if that's accurate to the original design. I don't, like, mind it. Like, obviously, it's not like, oh, he has an extra piece of hair that's not supposed to be there. I'm not buying it, even if it, you know, if, like, it's not supposed to be there. Again, I'm not sure. However, I still think it looks really, really good. It is interesting to see that the muscles look a lot more, like, detailed and, like, sculpted in there. And they definitely put a lot more shading on the crevices and cracks of Trunks on the final piece, as well. His belly button is a lot more defined. Again, muscles a lot more defined than the more rounded look here, for sure. Even here, it almost looks like that the hair is, like, clear at the end, which I know is not the case. Obviously, it looks like this with these white tips, but it definitely looks like it kind of fades a lot more on the original production image. The armor basically looks the same, but yeah, it is quite interesting to see the little minuscule differences between the two. The one last thing that I'll say about this that I do find interesting is that his eyes are just about equal. Like, this eye is cocked up just a little bit, right? That would be his right, our left. And it is interesting that they seem to, like, really go in on that look on the final one, where they made him like, you know, he's sort of doing the rock eye meme, like where his one eye is a lot smaller than the other one, which I guess shows a lot more rage. Like, this figure definitely feels a lot more angry than this one, for sure. But yeah, I still like the final product a lot. Obviously, this is just nitpicking as a person who's a figure snob. This is what I tend to do, you know. I want peak perfection from Bandai, but it is still an absolutely fantastic figure for sure. And moving on, oh, well, Baggy actually did that for us. Whoops. We have Cell, and I gotta say, there is no discernible difference, honestly, on this final product from the original production image. It is spot on, if I do say so myself. I will comment on the coloring, because that isn't a fault of either of these figures. That is the lighting. I always say that the lighting changes a lot when you're looking at a particular figure, and you can see that especially here, because he looks a lot more lime green. Well, okay, let me make this more clear. I guess he looks more, yeah, I guess it's more like lime green, like yellow green on the right, and then on the left he looks a lot more like, what would be a good color to compare that to, sort of like watermelon green, right? Like the skin of a watermelon. He looks a lot more darker on there, where he looks a lot more yellower on the right. But again, that's just because they're using white light or blue light compared to yellow light, or at least that's like the tint that your eyes would see of the light, right? And you can obviously see that the bits that are really shiny here, obviously the light is reflecting a little bit differently on this one. But yeah, he looks fantastic. I am really excited to get this Cell. I do not actually have any Cell figures that aren't posable. So I am actually really excited to pick this guy up. And the last figure here that we have is Omega. And I really can't tell a difference. Again, this is one of those, this is maybe even a better example, to be honest with you, about how much lighting makes a difference, because obviously they have a light coming from the back of Omega here, or maybe more like the side, but of course because he's hunched over, the shadow is a lot more heavy on his face, so that's why this figure looks the way that it does. But either way, still looks really, really great, and again, no real discernible differences from the original image to the final product, for sure. Looks great, if I do say so myself. December 2018 KV base Goku figure store numbers: Game Station 187, Taito 139. December 2021, exactly 3 years later, Zenkai Solid Volume 2, 22 and 21. That is absolutely crazy how low those numbers are, and should definitely go to show how much Goku has sort of dropped in value, because obviously everybody's got Goku figures by now, bro. Like, we don't need any more, especially base form. We are 100% chilling on that front. Very crazy to see that, though, regardless. Oh my gosh, mini parcel baggy. I think this is a little bit more than mini. Oh, I love that set, though. That's pretty cool. All these goofy face Vegetas. That's cool. Very, very nice. Shipped it via surface boat. Wow, almost 4 months. That's crazy. I mean, I guess that makes sense with everything going on, though. Ooh, okay, that's some cool art. Where are we looking, though? We're looking for more figures, bro. Okay, oh boy. It's my turn on the Xbox. Vegito is back. Clean production images in white background for the April prize figures. And they all still look pretty bad. Vegeta's face, as someone said, looks like a pig. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird. Here is, oh, man, I can't help but laugh at him. Look at him, bro. He looks so funny. I don't know what it is. Like, something about the energy that Vegito exudes in this figure just makes me chuckle every time I see it. Okay, so apparently these Gashapons are available to order in bulk for Gashapon machines in the US. So I guess US folks, keep an eye out and look at Gashapon machines near you for these. So actually, interestingly enough, I recently hit up the main place that I have a Gashapon machine near me, and I did not see either of these, weirdly enough. And I did not see these either. They did actually update my Gashapon machines recently, but maybe we'll be getting those in a little bit. Oh yeah, so this was also really unfortunate to see. The bad promo artist, aka the homie Mumps, or maybe Mumps didn't do this one, but usually when we talk about the bad promo artist, we're talking about Mumps, did the Goku Black Power Pack for the Dragon Star Series Power Up Pack. Yeah, it kind of doesn't look good, if I'm being 100% with you. Like, it could definitely be better. This looks like a... I don't know. It's hard to describe why it looks off, but it definitely looks off, for sure. This, yeah, is crazy to see the difference in quality here. I believe this is Fenyo, or Fenyon. I've heard people pronounce it different ways. However, yeah, this is what Dragon Stars is known for, that the figures are kind of stinky, but the art on the side of the box is great. And apparently now they're giving us stuff like this, which, I mean, it looks okay. I know for anybody looking at this, you're like, oh, what's wrong with this? Like, it's not bad, but this compared to Fenyo is just like night and day. You know what I mean? All right, another very interesting factoid for how much we're getting here. December Tokyo BSP Namco store numbers: Toga 192. Holy cow. Kimetsu WCF 130, Maximatic Tanjiro 95, Nezuko 180, Demon Set 140. And wow, Chi-Chi, Goku, and Vegeta 0. That's crazy. Toga and Nezuko bossed it. Also, no DVRs at all. The mismanagement of modern DB comes to the roost. Yeah, crazy, crazy for sure. Okay, very strange. Tanjiro across the board hasn't done well this month. Do people not like him? I know the Grandiste has plenty of orders. Maybe the fan insurance Tanjiro Sim doesn't match. Nezuko is by far the most popular character, so so her not dropping isn't a surprise. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is very wacky to see. So obviously these are both the re-releases of the Dragon Ball Collection Son Goku, obviously in his original outfit and the outfit he gets a little bit later in Dragon Ball. And the boxes are different, which is so weird. Like, it's literally the same size figure where the body is just repainted. I don't quite understand why they would decide to do this, but whatever, I guess. I do kind of want to get this one because I do have this Goku already. I just haven't cracked into him yet. Okay, so moving on up. Oh yeah, this was another interesting piece of merch news. So obviously this was a Mega Drive game for the Mega Drive. I was going to say for the Dragon Ball Z. Ironically enough, it went either that's April 1st or that's the 4th of January. I hope that's the 4th of January. Another person has listed the promotional poster for this particular game, and the last one sold for over 30,000 yen. This could definitely go crazy. Guess some people must have seen the recent sales of some of these old video games promotional posters and decided to jump in because we got hyper dimensions, listings in close succession too. Crazy, bro, crazy. Okay, March Kuji lot assortment confirmation. So obviously these are all of these guys, right, from the Dragon Ball Kuji. A2, B2, C2, D1, E1, and then there's going to be 12 Dragon Archives. Obviously that's spread between the different minifigures, G10, H24, I26, and the last one, version 1. Go figure. It's like it's called that, bro. Bardock's commercialization appeal is practically non-existent. Yeah, that is crazy to see that it has gone that much on sale. I know I've been looking around on different Japanese auction sites, and I have seen so many of the black and white Bardock up for really, really cheap. I am still waiting for my Manga Dimensions when I did get that one, but December Kuji doesn't start in Japan until the 11th, and there are already pre-sold listings for this ridiculous amounts. People are really that silly? So many stores this time. I've seen this before, but by the time the sellers ship the items, their market values could come crashing down. Yeah, very weird. Cooler's market value is 16K, but the back to the film Kuji was half the amount of stores, so logic should dictate that sell wouldn't be near as high. The only way sell would be very high is if he suddenly became the most sought-after DB figure of all time, which I doubt. Yeah. Definitely, for sure. Ooh, that's a good little tidbit that I'm going to save for later. However, not relevant to what we're looking at here. Okay, so this is interesting. People are beginning to seeing comments like this more and more frequently now. Recently, a number of orders for Dragon Ball prize figures has dropped sharply, but I think fans are believing because of this. Yeah, definitely. Would not surprise me. Okay, so this was very interesting. From Hot Topic, Goku Silhouette Throw Blanket. As far as design works, this has to be one of the best design products I've seen for an overseas product. It is very cool, honestly. It's like very abstract, I feel like, but it's still really cool. Like, I don't really know how to describe why this is cool. Like, it's the World Tournament Goku, obviously, in the background because he's at the World Tournament, but it's also like Super Saiyan. It kind of looks like Rose, funny enough, in the pose, but just a very interesting design overall. But obviously, this being a Hot Topic thing, they have some interesting designs sometimes. Alright, so, oh yeah, okay, so that was about something else. Super Master Stars Dimension Goku Overseas release out of the box pics. Photo credits to Epoch. I don't have the original to compare to, but something seems off. Yeah, definitely looks a little bit different than the original, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I did actually cancel my pre-order for this because I did not feel that 60 bucks was worth the price for this guy. But yeah, I mean, it looks very good. Definitely seems a little bit different, though, than the original one. And obviously, this was a re-release of one of the color versions because there were 4 of this guy. Moving on up. Looks like Baggy's been playing some Diamond and Pearl. Wow, okay. So the poster of the second game sold for 41,000 yen. Wow. That is really wild. That's crazy. Okay, so here is what we're waiting for, actually. Here is the 2D Nero Vegeta final production image, and a comparison with the original production image, the eye shift has remained. So this is very interesting to see. Again, this is another really crazy example of how lighting can do a lot for a figure. There is some crazy, like, blaring lights on the original one, and you can see that this is actually how the Manga Dimensions are supposed to work, because the whole thing with Manga Dimensions is that if you take a picture of it with the flash on, it looks like it's a real life manga panel sort of popping out, and that is exactly what the picture on the left looks like. Vegeta 100% looks a lot more like a manga sort of style, right? it is quite interesting to see, and I think the Manga Dimensions one actually looks a lot better in the newest production image rather than the original. And again, this just goes to show lighting and all that good stuff can do a lot for a figure. Alright, so Creator X Creator Shinron re-release overseas January 2021 and December 2021 as well. Yet the geniuses in charge of the merch didn't release the ultimate variant LO Shinron last year overseas. People on DB merch are absolutely close. Yeah, definitely a very odd choice for sure. Because this figure was super popular. I actually have this guy and I have not opened him up. I should do that for a video at some point. I have like a whole funny little thing planned with Shinron figures. So I will do that eventually. However, yes, very weird because I know a lot of people are also super interested in this, myself included. I would still like to get it, but his market value is crazy high, like not lower than 200 bucks. December 2D Vegeta, Trunks, and Black should start releasing in Asia probably next week. It'll be interesting to see the final images of those. 2D UI, Goku, and Videl starting to release in the US now. IMO wait for the Goku to come down in price like the Supermaster Stars Piece 2D release. It ain't going to be sought after that much. I don't think, certainly, that ain't worth dropping 70 bucks for a prize figure. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with him there. I did actually see these in person, which was kind of wild. The Versus 17 DP versus the US, shocked they didn't keep the Japanese text. Yeah, usually they do. So it's interesting that they didn't keep the Japanese on here, but they actually did change it to English. So pretty interesting. Okay, so this was also a little interesting piece here. The Clear Rise, Vegito, and Gogeta are releasing in Japan together next month. Curious what the order numbers will be. I'm expecting low for both, but expecting Vegito to be slightly more than Gogeta. Yeah, definitely would expect that as well, considering how much Gogeta has been over-marketed recently. Here's some more pictures of the Omnibus Kuji packaging. Looks very good, if I do say so myself. Again, I love the stylization of this for sure. Looks very cool. Here is the boy Shinron. Looks like LO Shinron is going to come in a massive box like the original, unlike the bagged Purunga. Forget about importing this then. Yeah, it is going to be a very stinky boy to import, because the box is going to be huge, bro. It's going to be giant, so definitely will be interesting. Omega Shinron packaging, his initial market value lower than I was expecting, so good news for anyone in Asia looking to import. His value may settle around 5K. That's pretty good, 50 bucks. Not too bad for market value. Oh yeah, so here was also the full image of this, by the way, if you're curious. Literally, they didn't even, like, try with this one. They literally didn't even put him in the correct environment that this figure is supposed to be in for these particular pictures. Also funny that they just, like, put him in actual sand. Early listings for December Kuji, Goku, and Vegeta in Japan are already, what? 40 bucks? And this will likely go way down. Don't pay the Ichiban show price of 60 bucks. Yeah, I agree. That is whack. Cell Jr.'s initial market value is almost double, and there is only one of him per box, plus Cell Jr. 2 per store, more than Goku Vegeta set 1, so there should be more expensive because there are Japanese fans knowing, yeah. That is crazy that this is worth more than this. That should tell you right there how much not only Goku's been over-commercialized, but how much people hate this reusing and figures that just don't make sense. Very crazy. Look at my Hisuian boy, by the way. What a cutie, bro. Hopefully the December, I almost said King Cluster. Oh my gosh. Creator. Version B Shinron looks as good as the production photos. The fact that it's made out, it looks like it's made out of wood. I wish it was made out of wood. It's being made in China, so decent finals should be good, but not guaranteed. Yeah, definitely excited to see this guy for sure. Again, I have the original, but I would still absolutely love to get this version because it just looks so sick, bro. Alright, so here are the December Kuji metal trays. Very, very interesting. These are obviously not the original pieces of art, but they still look okay. They do have some very weird, like, looking shading, I guess. I'm not sure if it's just the lighting of this photo, but they are, like, kind of an interesting Kuji item. Like, sometimes we do get some weird Ichiban Kuji items, right, that are kind of like, what do I do with this? But this one I feel like is very, like, I don't think I would ever use this for food, but I assume that's what it's for. Like, maybe you just put your junk on it, your earrings. I don't know. Seems very weird. Yeah, not long until the Piccolo hype. Unlikely, but I hope they give us an option to have Piccolo without the turban and the cape. That'd be sick. We've got a little break from merch stuff, but next few weeks should be crazy, so buckle up, yeah. Oh boy, so this is the Gogeta figure. How hard is it to produce quality figures? Yeah, the day another company is allowed to make Dragon Ball figures isn't Funko will be very joyous day indeed. Yeah, Kuji figures are only made 1 to 2 per store for Ichiban show, 4 per 6 per case, unlike 36 for prize figures. So no reason Kuji figures should ever be this quality. Yeah, definitely very unfortunate to see this type of thing, because obviously, wow, look at how the eyes bleed onto the, I guess it'd be eyeshadow, right, or just the outlining of Gogeta's eyes. Very unfortunate to see. Glad I didn't pick this guy up. I wasn't planning on it at all, but wow, apparently this sold for 26k yen. That's crazy. Very insane. Oh yeah, Baggy also got Gohan, which was pretty cool. Definitely very exciting there. Grandisa Gohan, aka Best DB Grandisa, now releasing for Australia. Let's go. So glad they strayed away from adding unnecessary battle damage. Yeah, I will say, like, as interesting as this was, it is quite interesting that the original Grandistas had this little, like, nicks and scratches on it. I think it definitely looked better for Vegeta than it did Goku. But it's interesting that they sort of strayed away from that as time went on. Okay, so here are some in-person pictures of the Kuji. Wow, this guy got literally everything. That's wild. Here's the boy Omega out of the box. He looks very good. Unfortunately, the lighting is a little bit stinky in this picture, but that's okay. I appreciate you taking the picture and posting it nonetheless. He looks good, though. I think that the yellowing, kind of like... I'm sure that is a little bit of the lighting, but it is also interesting to see that, like, that actually does appear to be on the figure. But this guy looks like he's going to be huge with the spikes on his back, so that will be very cool. Here's another picture of him from Kaorin. There we go. I almost said Kaiorin. That's not how it's pronounced. He looks cool, though, obviously having some lighting from the bottom rather than the back, which is how we've seen all of the production images so far. But he looks cool. That smile is very goofy, but I love it. It feels very Omega. It's cool, though. I definitely like this a lot. Not too... Can I see anything that's really... I will say the brown little, like, accent lines do look a little bit weird, but it doesn't look like there's too many blemishes on this figure. It does look like there's a little black spot there and there. And maybe a little bit of scratching there. But for a Kuji figure, definitely nothing too crazy in terms of the, what would be like defect department. I do see a little bit of scratch on the mouth, though, which is kind of unfortunate, but definitely overall looks pretty good. Here is the boy Cell Jr. By the way, Kyle Rin basically posted every single one, which is cool. Obviously, he also looks very good. I love the chrome dome, or the shiny dome, I guess, for his head. It looks good, and the sculpting on him looks good for him being so small. Here's the Goat Cell. This figure looks absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I can't make this full screen because for some reason, when I full screen Twitter videos, when I'm capturing it the way that I'm capturing it, they like flicker for some reason. So apologies on that one. So you just have to deal with it being this size. However, this looks great. I'm going to take another sip of water as this is sort of spinning around here. But yeah, looks great. I cannot wait for this figure. I have a lot of characters that I have like multiple of, but there's some characters that I'm like, yeah, I'd be satisfied if I just had one good figure. And I think this is absolutely perfect for just that one good Cell figure, you know? It looks really nice. So very excited for that guy. Here is the Trunks. Let me give you a little bit of a bigger view of him here. Again, looking very nice. I think that, funny enough, the picture out of the box looks a lot better than that original image that we were looking at that was sort of like the final version. It is, again, like I said, it always depends on the way that the picture is taken, the lighting, how, like, what they're going for with the picture, and of course, you know, who's taking it, if it's just a normal person or the company. But overall, I think this looks great. I love the way that the hair is sculpted. I love the way that it sort of flows back a little bit at the top. It looks great, and I think the face definitely looks a lot better than that actual image. And the little hair spike is, you know, looks good too. So very good stuff there. Looks fantastic. Here is the GOAT Shinron. He looks amazing, if I do say so myself. Also, while y'all are watching that, I'm going to see if they have the other two figures up on their channel. But yeah, he looks great too. Obviously, this is just a retooling of the original Ultimate Variation. Oh, I almost said Omega. Sorry, I was looking at Omega on the other page. The Ultimate Variation Shinron, right? So, of course, it's going to look great. But again, fantastic paint job on the boy as well. He just looks so good, if I do say so myself. I'm not even like the biggest GT guy myself. I'm a fan of Super Saiyan 4 for sure, but nothing too crazy in that regard. But man, this is a good looking figure. And it does actually look like that we did have a couple of figures or pictures. That was also a nice little comparison there. He did actually quote retweet these with a bunch of different pictures of the figures, so these look really, really good. I love the detailing. Oh, there's actually a pole there to hold that up. That's cool. I love the detail of the skin on the dragon. I think it looks fantastic. Obviously, the little marks on his snout look really good. The horns also looks fantastic. Those antennas are so long, bro. Holy moly. Oh, hi, Omega. I'm looking for again. Okay, so we have to go back if we're looking to get Trunks and Cell and Omega, I suppose, too. I don't know if he... Okay, so this is just normal retweets. We need those quote retweets. It's nice that Twitter actually separates them now. Oh, there you go. Wow, that is a good size comparison of him. I don't know why Gohan has green hair there, but whatever. Wow. He is so small compared to Cell. That's crazy. Wow, what is the what does this say here? Parent-child two-shot. Gotcha. That's funny. Wow. That is nuts how big that Cell is compared to the Cell Jr. That should tell you right there that why it's so ridiculous with how expensive the Kuji minifigures are. Okay, so we did also have some other shots of Cell. I did see that on his account. Besides just a normal picture of him, which matches basically the production image, we had him compared to a older Cell figure, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, some different angles for the boy. Look at that smug smirk, bro. That is so nice. I honestly like it a lot more from the front on angle, funny enough, than I do from the side angle that they've been putting it on. But you can see a lot of the nice detail on here. Obviously, the printed on spots look great. Cell's expression is perfect. The armor looks good. The purple ugly parts, you know, like in between his joints also look really good. Ugly in a good way, because, you know, he's a bug monster, right? He's supposed to look like that. Trunks is the last one that we need to take a crack at. And okay, so it's just a normal front on shot. Very cool. Very excited that this Kuji turned out pretty good for the most part. Okay, yeah, this was also kind of a blech. Kimetsu Namco January exclusives. Meanwhile, for DBZ Namco exclusive, we have Goku's reused again. Very, very unfortunate to see. Yo, high key though. I ain't even gonna cap. That Tanjiro is sick. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, so Baggy got his copy of Vegeta, which is cool. And then we also had, ooh, okay, so here's a little bit of an update, like I was saying about the market value of Shinron. There's double the amount of stores as BTTF, so this should come down, but for those things, if import in this box is massive, and I don't think the market value will get as low to where the big box size doesn't matter yet. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know, bro, how I'll be able to get this thing. I would have to pay an arm and a leg for it, which I'm frankly not willing to do at the moment. Okay, so this was just talking about the crazy reusing for different Goku figures. Reusing has gotten so bad that they aren't even adhering to the proper designs. Non-BR SSG Goku never had red laces, but the white trimmed ribbon boots. BR Goku has round boots and not pointy, but they reused the lower half. And Super Saiyan Broly and Full Power Broly have different hair. Yeah. Very unfortunate to see that obviously things have kind of gotten to this point. That's why we're really only picking the figures that we like. Vegeta's using Bulma's mascara. That's funny. It looks like he has less black here, but obviously there's more black on his eyelashes. Or eyelashes, you know what I mean. This is another poster, an opportunity to get a few years ago. Foolishly decided to get it in favor of figures. Yeah, very unfortunate. Definitely need to pick up some of those maybe. Oh, this was a shot I was really hoping that we would see here that I knew Baggy retweeted. This is so sick, bro. Obviously, this is a bunch of different ICHIBAN KUJI, which, funny enough, I actually don't recognize this Frieza. I would love to pick that up. It might actually be an old Banpresto figure. I'm not sure, though, but obviously we have a bunch of different villains from Z here, which is really, really cool. Obviously some movie, obviously some canon. very cool to see all of these guys together. I will actually be getting Vegeta, Nappa. I have Broly, I just haven't opened him yet. I would like to get Kid Buu. I'll be getting one of the Cell Juniors, and I'll be getting Cell and Cooler. So realistically, I'll only be missing a couple of these guys to actually recreate this shot. But fantastic image, if I do say so myself. I actually meant to retweet that. Very cool. Yeah, don't pay. Definitely don't pay. Look at this, bro. That's 32 bucks for both of these. Definitely do not pay the regular price for these if you do want to get these. Absolutely, for sure. Oh yeah, so this is what I was talking about. It is kind of unfortunate, though, I will say. So this is a little bit unfortunate. You can see that Mr. Omega has paint chipping. Super Shin. I love how he calls him Super Shin Shinran-kun. That's adorable. But yeah, as you can see, there is some paint chipping where this yellow is like supposed to be here, right? Because that's sort of the 90s-esque Omega GT design. You can see that it's chipping off a little bit here. There's a little bit chipping off at the leg, and a little bit chipping off near his bootay. And a little bit chipping off here too, which is very unfortunate. But like, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's like, I can't even be like, oh, this is acceptable, because this is a, you know, it's Bandai. They're supposed to be, you know, the guys of quality, and for a figure that you're paying this much for, you know, you don't want to be having these kinds of issues. The front is even worse. Yikes. I really hope mine doesn't end up like that. I'll actually return it if it does. It literally looks like they spray painted on the balls, bro. That's crazy. And the stars. Look at that star. Wait, it's hard to see unless I zoom in on it. Look at that. It is like all the way down there on the where the white is like spray painted. Bro, is that a crumb from the factory? Yeah, that is pretty schnasty looking. I do definitely hope that mine doesn't end up looking like that for sure. But that is definitely kind of stinky, if I do say so myself. Here we go again, yet another Hyperdimension poster. Has been listed 5 days for another crazy sale. Wow, this is definitely a cool poster too, for sure. Okay, we are almost done here. What to look forward to this week? It's a big one. So we did talk about this a little bit, but we didn't talk about the Shinron. Obviously, December overseas exclusives, they released in Asia. Jump Festa is also coming up, which is going to be very excited. So any superhero merch will be revealed before the production images, May Kuji finals maybe, and the rest of the wafer stickers, as well as April candy info. Going to be very interesting to see what the movie brings us. And Zenkai Sod finals, but yeah, nobody cares. Agreed. And that is it. That is actually everything that we have for this 2 weeks. So that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Definitely let me know what your favorite figure was from this week's ep. And let me know if you're planning on picking up anything from this particular wave of figures. I am quite excited for the Omnibus, I'm sorry. Wait, yes, no, the Omega Shinron, bro. I'm excited for him. Despite the errors that we're seeing so far, I suppose it'll be interesting to see when I eventually get my copy, if he ends up looking like that. Hopefully not. But hope you guys have a fantastic week coming up. Obviously, in the next 2 weeks, weirdly enough, we will be after Christmas. So obviously, in terms of this series, I won't see until after Christmas or on Christmas Day. So hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. Have a very merry one. Happy holidays as well. And I will see you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.